Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Anthony Goodson, and alongside Adrian The Ace Stinson, we have Eric Russell. What's up, fellas?
What's up, world?
And we live on rebrandUS. We want to say thank y'all for watching. Please share this page tonight. Tonight's going to be a good show. We're going to talk about the coronavirus. Everybody can get in on this conversation because everybody, one way or another, has been affected by the coronavirus. If you haven't, well, you know what? Let's take a look.
Coronaviruses are a type of virus. The one we're all talking about is new, and it causes a disease called COVID-19. Now, most people will only be mildly affected by it, but it can kill. It starts by infecting our upper respiratory tracts, which are the airways from your nose to just above your vocal cords. You may develop a fever as your immune system starts to fight the virus, and a dry cough. That's one where you don't produce any phlegm. The virus can then spread to the lungs, making it harder for people to breathe, and it can cause pneumonia. In the most serious cases, people can die from the coronavirus. This is because the immune system can go into overdrive, and that can lead to organ failure. So we need to do what we can to stop this virus from spreading. As it gets into your body by breathing it in or through your eyes and mouth, the best thing to do is wash your hands regularly and properly for at least 20 seconds. Catch your colds and sneezes in a tissue and avoid touching your face.
Wow. Coronavirus is still with us, y'all. After all this time, the coronavirus is still affecting us.
Still representing.
So tonight, that's what we wanted to talk about. We wanted to talk about how the coronavirus is affecting you, or how has it affected you. So please comment tonight. Let's have a fun show, but let's have a good show, because we want to see the effects of this pandemic. Of course, we know it affected the world, but let's see how it affected you. Adrian,
what's up?
Let's go ahead and just start off with you. How has this coronavirus affected you? Give me one thing, and I'll ask you again in 30 minutes.
The biggest way corona affected me is I have personally lost 6 people to the virus. Like, not people I know, but like 6 personal people in my life I lost to the virus in that short, time span, like within a year.
Eric?
I would just say that it's taking away like family for me, like in my extended family, because I have older brothers and sisters. I couldn't see, haven't seen in almost a year now in person. We do Zoom and stuff like that, so it's cost me some level of relationship. So that's one thing that's cost me so far.
Well, you know what? I think the virus, as far as I'm concerned, during that time, and I think we'll talk more about this in a little bit, but during that time was probably some of the greatest times of my professional career and personal life and all those things. It affected me in a positive way. Now, yes, I have lost some friends and family members, so to speak, in-laws or whatever, that to this virus, and that obviously is a tragic, and that's terrible, and certainly it was a bad year for them, but or at least affected them horribly bad. I didn't lose a job, but I know people who did, and even those who I know did, they won, with that unemployment, which we'll talk a little bit more about here in just a bit too. But I can't say that it was just negative aside from the people that I lost. I don't see it's bad. I'm not saying, oh, boy, we need another coronavirus. I'm not saying that by no means. But when I look at it, when I broke it down and I look at how God, maybe I'm just being optimistic, or maybe I'm saying, God, I thank you for the things that I do see. But, the coronavirus didn't really affect me in just a horribly bad way, except for the fact that we lost some people. Tell us how it affected you guys, the coronavirus. Now, the next question, let's move on just a little bit. And we're going to talk a lot about this tonight. But, Eric, what did you learn during this time?
I would say just the opposite of what I said for what it cost me. I realized I'm an introverted person. I'm on a podcast, but if you know me personally, I don't really interact with a whole lot of people until I get to know you. Then I'm a different kind of cat at that point.
Still don't talk to me. I like that. It's me, baby, from the podcast.
We still working on it, Ace. We still working on it.
Okay.
Have y'all met each other in person before? Just curious. Have y'all ever met each other in person before? I don't even. Y'all have? Okay, I didn't know.
But yeah,
Wait, time out. Wait. So first, I wasn't gonna say nothing about the shirt we don't have. I like the shirt, but it definitely stands out. Then he hit us like he's the new host of the Tonight Show. He got the rebrandUS coffee mug.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Sydney Goodson, courtesy of Sydney Goodson, she makes T-shirts. One near you, there's a store. Anyway, she had this made, and I couldn't find my normal uniform. It's somewhere. It's somewhere. I get it.
Yeah, you threw it away. You got that shirt. You're like, I don't need this no more.
We come back for commercial. I'm gonna find that shirt.
God dog. Oh man, but yeah, I think it definitely allowed me to kind of adapt to at least understand the importance of relationships. You know, Jesus had a lot of relationships in the Bible. Whatever. I always try to go back to the Bible or Jesus or an example like that. Obviously, when I'm trying to process and think deeply or whatnot. But it definitely has allowed me to know that relationships are really, really important. And I just didn't realize how important they were until this time actually hit. So it's making me want to work harder on relationships, even though it's not necessarily easy for me. But it's definitely one thing I'm learning about. I've learned about myself during this pandemic.
Ace, what did you learn?
I don't think I necessarily just learned anything, but it kind of reiterated one of my things I'm big on is family is so important, and family is so much of a big thing. You know, one thing that biggest thing is you get to see what counts. You know, the little things that you thought were big that really don't even matter compared to the things that, you know, like to the things that matter. You know, looking at you seeing TV and people passing away, but you know, you thinking, God, I mean, you're in the house and, you know, all three of my kids are here at the house healthy, you know, and things like that. Then, you know, that the little stuff just really don't matter anymore.
You know what? I don't know what I learned. And, you know, later on, we're going to be talking a little bit more about conspiracy theories and other things, money. But I think if you did it correctly, if you stayed home like you were supposed to, if you washed your hands like you're supposed to, I believe people learn the value of, like you said, family. I think that, I mean, in simple, washing your hand is the value of family or life. You know what I mean? Because I'm washing my hands not just to get the virus, but I also wash my hands so I can be here for my family. You know, it all came down to family. My mother and father, my daughter, my sister, my wife. You know, maybe I should have said her first, but nevertheless, family is like the biggest part of it. It's like you spend a whole lot of time thinking about it. And of course, I will say this: me and Ace do the same thing professionally, and you know, we never stopped working during this whole thing.
Yeah.
So we wasn't sitting in the house just, you know, hanging out, you know, like everybody, like a lot of other people were doing. What we were doing was going out to work. We were on the front line. We're healthcare workers. So we had the opportunity to go out and see the changes that were made in a way that a lot of people didn't.
That's the big thing. You know, I got to see what the news was saying, but then I got to go to the doctors in the hospitals and see them doctors and the nurses like, no. You know, most people seeing just little images. Like we actually got to go see doctors and nurses with tears in their eyes, and you can see the fear. I never forget the fear that you can see in their eyes sometimes. It was like, whoa, you know, like you ask them just a simple question and they'll look at you and eyes start watering up, something like that. You like, this is awkward, you know, but that's a definite.
For those just joining us, we're talking about the coronavirus tonight, COVID-19. What did you learn is the question that we have posed right now. Please feel free to join us. We're very interested to see what everybody else thinks. But, you know, this was something. I'm 43 years old. I think all three of us are roughly about the same age.
Don't include me.
Roughly. I said roughly.
Okay. Don't let the great fool you. I'm married with children.
But I mean, you know, I think we all learn something different depending on your walks of life. Some people learn I'm not financially stable like I should be. So if I lost my job, then I thought I was in a better place. Other people probably learned how much they love or dislike their family. Whatever the case may be, we want to know what you guys learned.
Yeah, a lot of divorces birthed out of this.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what? Soon we can leave this house. Yo ass.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it right now. We got a lot to talk about. And hey, feel free if y'all have anything y'all want to talk about with regards to COVID-19, let us know. We want to talk about it. But was it a conspiracy? Now, we heard, let's talk about the conspiracies that we heard. And I'm going to bring Kim in just a little bit. She's our resident expert on the coronavirus, but because she actually works in healthcare also. But we heard that it was something dealing with the, what is it, the 5G network or something like that. We heard that. We heard, it was someone ate a bat in China. We heard that it's man-made. It's a list of things that we've heard. Let's go to Kim and see what Kim has to say.
Is she live on the scene? Is she live in the field? Oh, okay. I just said that.
Well,
yes,
the wind is blowing. The wind is blowing very hard. I can't stand. Guys, just walk right by.
Yeah, the sign is gonna hit out of nowhere. Boom. I'm logging off.
That's how y'all gonna do me.
Hey, Deborah Goodson said, by the way, no, too many people died from it. It is real. Yeah, it is real.
Coronavirus is definitely real. I think that a lot of people just made up some things in their head just not to deal with it. But I mean, the truth of the matter is that we had to deal with it. And it was a virus that was contracted overseas. And so evidently it's been around for years, but this strain of the virus has been, was new, and it was fatal. So.
Who spelled COVID?
What did you say?
Who spelled COVID?
Evidently, it was two diseases out there because our producers was wondering how do people get the COVID. That's a jacket. Don't put my COVID-19 on the floor.
And that what Denise made Theo.
Yeah.
COVID-19. So, Kim, we posed a question earlier. What did you learn? What did you learn? She'll tell us what she learned nothing.
She ain't coming for no learning, no schooling, nothing like that. I'm out. I told you I don't do that. Well, she's in the health field, folks. She's definitely not an educator. We can tell you that right now.
All right, I think she's back. So, Kim, I don't know if y'all know this. Kim's nickname is Black. Kim, what did you learn during this whole thing?
Hey, she keeps going in and out. First of all, like Joe said, won't you just stay for a little while on the podcast?
I'm trying. I'm sorry. I'm having some technical difficulties. I learned quite a bit, as a matter of fact. I can honestly say I worked and lived through a pandemic. I learned that not to take things lightly, because when everything came down the pipe at first, we got an email about it. It was in the news and everything, and it hadn't made it to us yet. So, but I kind of brushed it off. I just didn't think it was going to be as serious as what it was. So I learned to listen, number one. Number two, I learned to open my eyes, because I saw firsthand. They totally changed my life all the way around, especially my work life, because they changed my clinic into a testing facility. So we were literally on the front lines and dealing with people who were infected with the disease and with the virus, or infected, or who suspected they were infected. A lot of us were affected. And in the first week, I did get COVID. So I learned a lot. And number three, I think I learned that God is real, for sure. If I never knew that before, I know that now. I know that people, it will bring people together. It will tear people apart, because it set people apart in the healthcare industry. If you're there for a check, it set those people apart. It kind of weeded those people out. So that's definitely what I did learn. So. And I'm still here. I'm still going strong, and we're just trying to push towards some normalcy in my clinic.
That's
Wow.
Kim with the Antoine Fisher line. I'm still standing.
I'm still strong. Hey, look here. When we come back, we got Eric Russell. He will be telling us what we got going on at the 7:45 mark. I'm not real sure, but I know it's something dealing with rebrand. What? We'll see y'all in a bit.
It's smart.
If you just think about it, everybody that has had a harm or a foul done to them has been paid some form of reparations, except for us.
It's informative.
Systemic racism is a form of racism that is embedded as normal practice within society or an organization.
It's funny.
We were doing a march for equal rights for people in the adult industry with missing limbs.
Because
It's powerful.
that's the thing I feel our community is missing the most. We just don't take action. We're so skeptical of so many things that we wind up being the ones holding ourselves back.
It's rebrandUS.
Welcome back to rebrandUS. I'm your host, Anthony Goodson, alongside Eric Russell, Adrian The Ace Stinson, and in her tardiness, she was late today. We're not going to take it out on her too hard.
She was out in the field. She was live on the scene.
No, you're not.
We have Kimberly Dow. Later on, we're going to talk about how it affected our money. Some people are going to say some good things. Some people are going to say some not so good things. And let us discuss how it affected religion. Also, the division amongst the people. Mask versus no mask. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Eric, it's on you.
Yeah, man. I think this is a good, fun topic, but it can be kind of serious too. I think talk about what we learned during this COVID pandemic. I think it's more of a serious topic. I think you did some reflection in there, trying to figure out what that was that you learned, what you gained from these experiences. So I want to do something a little bit more light today. So I got a couple of dad jokes. I want you guys to give me your opinion about what is the better dad joke. Okay, so here is the first dad joke. Oh, hold up.
Yesterday by accident. He said, I bet there was a large bill. I said, no.
Now, first of all, he said the first part was he ran over a duck yesterday accidentally. And the son said what he said. He said, I said no.
Dummy. There's a quack in the windshield. I said to my son,
All right, that's the first one. Bad setup. Give me a second. I'll get the other one put up.
That second one better be better than that, dude. We got Sandman from the Apollo on here for him.
It's the same. But check it out. It's the same cat, though. Same cat.
Okay.
I said to my son, did you know your baby brother just ate a bunch of Scrabble tiles? He said, at least I'll have a good bowel movement. I said, no. Dummy. His next diaper change could spell disaster. I said to my son,
There you go. So these are dad jokes, right? You know, not something you go tell your homeboys or your homegirls or anything like that. But out of those two, since you got like a Sandman type of thing, who was a better dad joke? The first one or the second one?
Definitely the second one. But second those are like the lighter corner. You know, it depends on what demographic area you're from. You know, some people dad jokes be like, my daddy say he coming over today. You ain't got no daddy.
Absolutely. What about you, Kim?
Were those dad jokes or dud jokes?
Oh,
that's a good point.
Oh, I don't know who that. Are you throwing a shot at the dad or Eric?
I thought that was pretty corny and funny, personally.
Oh.
Corny and funny.
Excuse me.
But I want to throw some little light out there for us to kind of discuss real quick in regards to just bringing levity to a more serious conversation. I was talking to Anthony earlier today. Somebody wanted to kind of bring up too. Sometimes you just got to take the win, right? Sometimes you got to just understand when something positive happened, you just got to take that positive and start stacking on small positive wins, some positives, right? Because you can say, I want to go score a touchdown, but until you get a first down, you can't score a touchdown typically unless you can hit a home run. It don't happen all the time. So start taking these small little victories we get each and every day, waking up every morning. What happened?
I think you wish you. Wish you.
Whatever.
Maybe it's Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson. Don't worry
You
about
said you got to go back for those who didn't.
Don't worry about it.
You used two
Keep
sports
rolling.
analogies.
Keep rolling for the people. Keep rolling.
He used two sports analogies in the same.
Yeah.
That was interesting. You're not gonna get a touchdown unless you hit a home run. So I don't know. Go back and listen to it.
I got you, man. I got you.
Fullback comes through the hole. Put the bat down, son.
Talking COVID-19, how has it affected you? We're gonna talk a little bit about money here in just a little bit. So Francisco Davis, he says, I got it twice. Wow. Within 90 days. Woo. First time it pushed me to my limits physically. The second time was just a scratchy throat, of course. By then, I was taking a daily dose of vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, and black elderberry.
Every day.
But who knows if it helped or not? Twice. And what's the 90 days? Is that 3 months? Twice in 3 months. That's rough.
It sounded like you needed to sit down somewhere, man. What was you doing? Twice in 90 days. What's going on out there, Francisco?
Excuse me. Those of you who have been affected by it, either you've had it, know someone had it, lost someone with it, please give us a call or send us a note and let us know how it affected you. Now, okay, so let's talk about money for a little bit. I know people who got a raise because a lot of people got laid off during this time, right? A lot of people lost their jobs. And in some strange way, that was the biggest blessing of their life, some of them. I know people who got maybe even a $600 a week raise in this case. I know people who were making $1,500 a month. Literally, I'm not making up these numbers. $1,500 a month. But when they got laid off, they went up, they doubled that. So how do y'all feel about the whole money portion, Kim?
Unfair is all that I can say. Unfair. In my case, I'm still going to call it a blessing. I still have a job. But and I was so-called essential. So, but my pay never made it to essential. So, I did survive 2 layoffs. So, my staff and we just worked through it, and nothing really changed for me as far as finances. At first, there was a little bump, but that faded away. So, but nothing significant.
Ace? What's your take on the way unemployment and they handle all of those things? How they gave $600 a week extra to some people. Some people got a considerate raise by losing their job. And even now, I think in the state of Texas, they're getting rid of, if they hadn't already, $300 a week. And that's still a pretty decent raise for some people. And so they can't go. And I don't know if y'all know this, if anybody knows this, everybody, but people are like, there's more jobs than need for jobs. So there's so many people hiring for jobs, but nobody wants to go back. But because people are getting paid more money in unemployment, which is a wise decision, of course, it's common sense. They're not going to work. Of course, all is going to change by next month. So what's your take on that?
Also sign-on bonuses with all the jobs too.
Yeah, no, I thought about this,
and I've gotten on our website, and we have sign-on bonuses as well. So other corporations do too. So, but I would say it's unfair because we were out really, risking our lives every single day to make sure that everyone else either had a peace of mind or stayed healthy and knew what to do and knew how to proceed. And they were staying at home and just banking the money.
Yeah, I think we should have followed suit actually, because I definitely feel, I mean, just being honest from a standpoint, I definitely feel unappreciated. With my job being in the trenches, stuff like that. But hey, I can't knock people for getting money. They took a different strategy than we did. I think it was intended to be a good thing. They were like, look, we got to get people this money and we got to help people survive. We got a pandemic. It was a panic. We haven't in our lifetime, we haven't been through anything like this before. But it turned out to be a gift and a curse. It helped a lot of people. It helped a lot of families, but it wound up helping business in the long run because you had businesses begging people to work, like we can't find workers, and that's the crazy part. So it just depends on what side of the table you on. It was a win for some, loss for some, and vice versa.
Francisco said there's a blessing, fam, but the real money was made in the stock markets for sure. Look at any stock you want. and most have seen crazy gains, some in the thousands of percent range for sure. The average rates of return on mutual funds is 28% or better. That's a lot, and yet many stocks are still going up daily. Yeah, we saw it was strange how that happened. I saw a friend of mine; she made $230,000 in 30-day time period. $230,000 in a 30-day time period on the stock market. Eric, what do you think? And then when you get through, Eric, let's discuss. Stocks. Somebody wrote that on there. Yes, let's discuss the $1,200, the $1,400, and the $600. But Eric, what's your take on unemployment first?
Yeah, I think personally, it's sad that it's sad that people got bonuses by not working. Right? I think the fact that you got a bonus and you made more than you did at your job normally, I think that's a disgrace for America. You know what I'm saying? Somebody going to work and making $10, $11, $12 an hour, but you can go home and get laid off and make more money on unemployment. And I think that's the real disgrace in this whole situation, honestly. We can sit here and talk about it all day. There's people who are make less money than we do that's listen to us or make more money than us, and we're all on different spectrums, right? But to me, the sad part is that people were able to make a come up off the $2,000, $3,000 a month. That's a come up for them. That's the disgrace to me personally.
Kim Dow, our classmate, our main man, and my former barber, Jermaine Gibbons says scam. He thinks it's a big scam.
What's
I
up,
think so
Guru?
too.
What's up, Guru?
I think it was a scam. I think people. Well, I don't think scam. I think hustle. I think people hustled the system. The system got played. They played themselves, and they got played. It's like we look at the effect of people getting paid more on unemployment right now. So what we're seeing is people not wanting to go back to work. But what I want to see is the effect of people making this much more money. And when they do go back to work, what's going to be the effect of that? Because I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, hey, look, let me go to trade school or college or something. Do something so I can make more money. So I think in the long run, it may have a possibility of something good. But right off top, I don't think so. That PPP, though.
That's what I was going to mention.
About to say that.
Hey.
Like, what about the PPP loan? I mean, no, there's no excuse for the people that were doing a bunch of scamming. And honestly, I'm not going to say hopefully you get caught, but whatever seed you sow.
Hey, I ain't mad at him. I kind of hate I didn't jump on that first wave because I could have got. Look, I know people that have made six figures.
Yeah.
I know people who have made like sixes of figures, and I know some people that's paid like they talking about they just gonna chill the next 3 years and see what happens or whatever, with the money and whatever like that, But the Fed's coming for you, So I tell everybody out there, just save a little money for your lawyer fees and things and that initial bail. You're gonna need that. I think so with the PPP. I saw some beautiful things come. We saw a lot of entrepreneurs. We saw a lot of people start businesses that they had been dreaming about starting, things like that. They actually got that money. Now, the sad part about it is some of the people who got all this money and they literally just blew the money. Like they blowing it. Like it's like,
plastic surgery is at an all-time high.
Yeah, you got $50,000-$60,000 and you ain't got nothing but a charger and your same rent house you live in, or you travel, you went to Miami and lived it up on some $50 tickets, and it's like, it's but oh well.
Question: did you all rather see people go to work and increase the chance of dying from being affected? Oh, of course not. Of course not.
No. That's not the goal.
Well,
I mean,
and that's not
for everyone to be taken care of, but at the same time, I just feel like the people who were on the front lines and the people who were essential and the people who were willing to risk their life should have been compensated.
Yeah, and I put that on our companies because they like for my company, person, I'm like, okay, you would not have survived through this situation without us out here working and stuff like that. The companies themselves chose not to pay and chose not to increase, chose not to give bonuses and stuff like that. I think the companies kind of had the thing like, well, you just need to be happy you have a job. I mean, I honestly think that was their attitude. So I can't, I think we have to do that on a case by case basis, because you had some companies that were really appreciative and that were, paying their workers as such. Well, yeah, that's why. But like with the comment about would you rather people went to work dying and stuff, that's what makes it so tricky because it was the gift and the curse. It helped and it hurt at the same time. I guess it just these things have to be on. It has to be on an individual basis because like I said, I know a couple of people have got that much money. Some people have done extraordinary things and they put their life on a completely different track and they're on the way up. And some people, it'll be about a couple more months they'll be back broke and they'll be able to say how they had six figures at one time.
When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about this, but we also want to know, have you taken your vaccine yet? Yes or no, and why not? Let us know.
rebrandUS is motivating, inspiring. It's a conversation that needs to be had. It's Adrian The Ace Stinson.
If you're not gonna help, don't hurt.
Eric Russell.
We need financial literacy. We also need to get over this level of fear that we have.
Anthony Goodson.
That my ancestors, whether they were slaves, innovators, or the first blacks to do something, their lives had a purpose.
It's unique to any other podcast. It's Rebrand You, Rebrand Me. It's rebrandUS.
All right, we're back. We had a few people who, Kim, what you doing? Eating some brownies? We had a few people who had a few comments before we, when we went off. Wanted to certainly get back to them. Every company got money from the government for COVID CARES Act. All of them. I can't read. They just didn't give it to their employees. That was Francisco Davis. Also, what happened? What happened to the flu?
Hey. It got labeled as corona.
We ain't heard nothing about the flu this year. Facts, someone says. And finally, we have a comment that says, no, I will never take the vaccine, but to each their own. I've never had even a flu vaccine, not once. Which brings us to that next point. This is what we're going to talk about. But first, let's get with you, Ace. What's going on in Ace's place?
Oh, it's me already. Hey, I'm going to have to get some intro music or something. From my Ace's place, and I can't just jump in. I just want to first of all kind of go back. As we doing this here, we're all definitely celebrate the fact that Juneteenth was passed as a national holiday. But I do want to reflect on the fact that let us not be blinded. The fact that at the same time in this country, simultaneously as they were giving us a holiday with Juneteenth, they were also passing laws to where you can't teach about Juneteenth. So it's kind of like, it's just kind of like they're kind of just giving us a bone to play with and pacify us. Like, let's keep the black people happy, give them a holiday. And so, in the midst of our celebrating and everything like that, I think that we should still stay focused and stay on the fact. I do want to give the Shut Your Ass Up award to Herschel Walker's daughter. She made a video rant and she talked about how Juneteenth is nothing but division. She talked about there's nothing but a plot to divide America and all these things. And as I look at her, and I'm like, well, you have that option, Miss Walker, because your skin tone, you're more on the, I guess your father, your parents are biracial, nothing wrong with that, but you're on that side of things, so you could actually live life, as that way. But people saying that's division and things like that. How was something that was here division? It was like how is celebrating Juneteenth division in the country was something that something that actually happened. We once again, like people, oh, you always talking about slavery. We didn't make ourselves slaves, It wasn't us. Somebody else chose to do it. Why do we celebrate Juneteenth? Because once again, when the slaves were freed, you decided to work them 2 more years and, get that extra work out of them. So now Juneteenth's a holiday because it's the day we finally found out, oh, wow, we're free or whatever. So just some of the people that's have negative things to say and that's, just spewing out this rhetoric, basically like Miss Walker was doing, things like that. Shut up. Once again, I don't understand how, you can be a vessel for white supremacy. And let me get it straight when I'm saying this. I'm not talking about white people. I'm strictly talking about real white supremacy. It's like you dumbass coons are vessels for these people. I mean, I really would like to see how much they paid y'all, or just what you're getting out of this kind of stuff. You know, when you make these comments and when you say this kind of stuff, and when you go national with it and make these videos proclaiming this kind of stuff, it's like, I know somewhere you got a grandmama that can't stand your ass. Like, you got to have cousins that's ashamed of you, or family and things like that. And you know, it's like I don't know, Herschel, I don't know what's wrong with you, man. I can't go off on you because you're pretty big and you probably could take me in a close to close match, but I'll beat your son out with his so I can talk about him. I mean, your daughter, whatever he identifies as. But yeah, just to that, just like I said at the beginning, shut your ass up.
Wise words speaking from Ace's Place. Ace's Place brought to you by, we're getting shut down from Facebook. See you on Instagram. All right, thank you for that, Ace. So we're talking COVID-19, how it's affected you. We had a whole lot to talk about tonight. I don't even know if we're going to get to all of it, but you know, that financial thing is kind of a big deal. And I'm going to come back to that in just a little bit, but I think the next part, until this phase is out, at least we should talk about this vaccine, right? So a comment first, it says, not so big on this holiday when we still don't have a bill for lynching being made a hate crime, or Congress still has to vote every so often if black people are still considered human beings or not. That's the true statement. Every 25 years, I'm not real sure who put that on there, but I'll find it out. Every 25 years, black people have to be, for those of you who don't know, we're only legal as Americans, and that's Francisco Davis, by the way. We're only legal as Americans for 25 years. Every 25 years, they have to re-vote us in as legal in America. So anyway, we'll talk about that on another show for sure. But let's talk about this vaccine. So the 1930s, as y'all already know, some Tuskegee men were injected with the syphilis virus purposely as a test to find out, I don't know what. Anyway, all these men, they had some kind of serious situation that happened to their bodies.
But they were lied to, though.
They were lied to. You can go to Google, see some of the photos, and see what happened. You can go to YouTube, and you can definitely see the video. I think Lawrence Fishburne even did a movie about this.
Miss Evers boys.
Yes. Now they are. We have vaccines. Black people at alarming rates are not taking the vaccine, and for whatever particular reason. Kim, let's go to our resident expert who's in the healthcare industry on the front lines. Me and Ace, we're kind of on the second line. Kim, tell us, why are black people not taking this vaccine?
PTSD, because of that. Actually, like you said, the Tuskegee Airmen. I think just black people as a whole just don't like to go to the doctor because, you know, most of the time they find out, you know, bad results. You know, they have a bad experience at the doctor. But as far as the vaccine goes, I think it's just PTSD. They're not trustworthy of the government. So if the government puts out something and wants to inject them with something, then of course we have every right to be not trustworthy. We have every right to be just really hesitant on doing anything that they say that we should do, because they've never told us the truth. You know, they've never told us the truth. They've never backed us or anything. They've never done anything in our favor. Seems like every time they try to do something, it's to cover something else up. Just like Ace said, you know, they give us that holiday, and then but boom, we can't teach about Juneteenth in our schools. So what type of mess is that? You know, so we have every right to feel the way that we feel. You know, but I also feel like at the same time, it probably would help and save someone's life. This vaccine would. So the only problem about that is I don't know whose life it would save. You know, so I don't know how to decipher who would have the worst side effects from it, or who would help most. So
you got your conspiracy theorists who believe that they're putting chips in us. Maybe some of your religious people too think it's the mark of the beast. And then you have people like me. I'm just afraid of needles. To be honest with you, then they're paying people. I don't know if y'all know this, to actually go get the shot. They're paying people. You can win $40,000, I believe, here in Dallas, if I'm not
Free
mistaken.
Uber rides. Certain people giving $50 cash. You got certain restaurant. Who was that? You get a free. Is it Chick-fil-A giving away a free sandwich or something like that with your COVID card? I mean, hey, if anybody got the hookup, I'm looking for a few COVID cards. Let me know.
America sells fear, says Jermaine. Eric.
Yeah, Jermaine and Francisco, they are speaking a lot of facts tonight, a lot of truths, and I appreciate you guys chiming in with us tonight. Just kind of piggyback what Jermaine just said about the fear things. I think it's something that we as Americans, no matter what color, what creed, no matter what religion you are, that's something we all can unionize on right there. There's a huge distrust of the American government. Nobody really knows what they're telling you. And I always get like really crossed up when you talking about racism, and I always use fascism is supposed to that. Talking about Herschel Walker Ace, he has a certain privilege because of money and because of his fame or whatever that he gets a pass on certain things with certain white people, right? So classism has something to do with that. Money has something to do with some of that stuff, and also obviously the color of your skin has something to do with some of that stuff. Your religion has something to do with that stuff. But something we all can be unionized on is the fact that we all have a somewhat of a distrust of what the government tells us, because it's going to affect you or somebody else, just depending on what category you fall in those pockets of time, those pockets of life. So, in regards to immunization itself, though, me personally, I have not taken it. I'm not necessarily opposed to getting it at some point. I'm just continuing to research. I'm continuing being mindful and watchful of other people, what I see happening to them, what I see them reporting to me. I know several of my family members have gotten it, so I'm not necessarily opposed to it in the future. But I know right now I want to be watchful and prayerful and thoughtful and watchful until I feel comfortable. And I'm gonna let the God speak to me personally. Like, you go get that.
Absolutely, same here. Talk about them food stamps, Famo, says Jermaine Gibbons. Hey, look here, that's a good one, because getting back into that financial piece of it, look at what America has been giving to us here lately. They gave us $1,200, they gave us $600, they gave us $1,400, and now they're giving these food stamps away. And if I'm not mistaken, next month I think if you have children, you get like $550 per child for the next 6 months. They're giving all these things away. What is this saying? What does that mean? What are they doing? What's behind that? And now it's something deeper than just saying let's boost the American economy, because so many people are not going to work. They're getting this $300 a week. In Dallas, Texas, everywhere you go, and all four of us live in the Dallas Metroplex. Yeah. Everywhere you go, you see now hiring signs everywhere. Or am I the only one? And yet all these things are being given away. There's got to be something behind it.
If you don't have a job right now, you don't want one.
Yeah, basically.
True.
If you don't have a job right now, you don't want one.
But we're not going to talk bad about the food stamp situation, though, because thank y'all. Hey, that 50 cents on a dollar, it goes a long way toward, I've met some young entrepreneurs who were starting I say food stamp selling industry, maybe.
We're getting shut down, Kim. We're getting shut down. Catch us on rebrandUS podcast on YouTube.
It's just that. The only thing I say to that is y'all getting this money selling these food stamps. Feed your kids first. Don't get $2,000 food stamps and sell all of them. Feed your kids. Put some money in it.
Man, you never bought the first PlayStation, fam. Hey, all right, on. So anyway,
you didn't ask me about the vaccine. No, wait, I didn't get to get my vaccination.
Oh, go ahead.
You didn't either, though. Goodson, you didn't say nothing about it. What are you? What's going on?
Oh, I'm not gonna take it because I'm afraid of needles. I said mine. I'm just simply afraid of needles. I don't really believe there's any conspiracy. I don't think there's a chip. I don't think it's the mark of the beast. I don't think they're doing any kind of testing. I think I'm just afraid of needles. And when they start saying, "Hey, look, you have to take it or else," then I'll just take it. I'm like Eric. I'm gonna pray about it first. But if I have to take it before I travel, then I'm gonna take it and then I'm gonna travel.
I can tell you right now, I'm not taking no thing. I can tell you that right now. And this goes for everybody. If you can hear my voice, if you can see me, I don't care if you black, white, Mexican, Asian, Lithuanian, Swahilian, wherever you are, you got to be a fool if you trust the American government. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'm glad I'm wrong because that man did the right thing. This country will literally put the dollar bill before anything, period. And this is coming from when we discussed the Tuskegee experiment when they gave those guys syphilis. I have a father who served in Vietnam that was sprayed with Agent Orange. Still to this day, they won't admit to it. We see all the effects, they won't admit to it. So it's just me personally. Like I say, I'm not knocking you on your decision. I'm not knocking you on whatever you do. Just me personally, I just feel that I'm gonna hold off and just do the things that I need to do to stay clear as far as being clean, distancing, because like we were saying, I believe in as far as the Tuskegee experiment, I believe that a man should catch syphilis the old-fashioned way. He should take $20 to a nice lady who works in the street. They should have a little fun, and he should find out a couple of days later.
Catch us on rebrandUS podcast. Catch us on YouTube. Catch us same place on on Instagram, or you can go to rebrandUS.org. We'll be in all those places.
That's just American way.
Hey, look, we'll come right back. Eric has his second spot. Kim has something to say, so we'll do all those things when we come back. Also,
poetry time.
Oh yeah, Kim's got a poem that she's gonna read.
No, I don't. Golly, I wish I.
It's smart.
If you just think about it, everybody that has had a harm or a foul done to them has been paid some form of reparations. It's up for us.
It's informative.
Systemic racism is a form of racism that is embedded as normal practice within society or an organization.
It's funny.
We were doing a march for equal rights for people in the adult industry with missing limbs.
Because that's the thing I feel our community is missing the most. We just don't take action. We're so skeptical of so many things that we wind up being the ones holding ourselves back.
It's rebrandUS.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the stylings of Kimberly Dow, you have Kim's poems.
COVID.
Wow.
Is that a cough I heard?
All right, let's discuss how it affected religion. Also, let's discuss the mask versus the no mask thing. But first off, religion. Eric, have you seen any changes in religion? Did people get more, less? Did it stay the same?
I mean, the church I go to attend, and honestly, I still do mostly virtual at this point. But not necessarily afraid to go to church, but I just do it virtually for my own personal convenience at this time. But we'll go back soon. It's like it's revigored some of that good old church back in the day that I experienced back in East Texas. You know what I'm saying? That
old time religion,
revival type stuff where you listen to the word, you giving that real praise. You know what I'm saying? If I got revigored back up, so I feel like it's helped in a way. Like I said, I think it helped. It kind of let us all know that relationally speaking, that we need each other to survive. Literally, we need human contact to heal, to grow, to get better, whatever the case may be. So I think it's actually been a positive in the religious standpoint, from a religious standpoint.
Kim?
I think, me personally, it kind of drew me a little closer. I had to, because just to stay sane in the job that I had, because like in the weather, we weathered through actually wearing all the PPE from 2 masks, N95. And I don't know if y'all wore an N95, but it really takes a toll on you because you can't really breathe like you want to. It's not a whole lot of oxygen exchange with that. So along with a mask and gloves and a shield and everything and the booties and everything to go with it. By the time you take all of that off and you've done your job for the day, you kind of have to look to a higher power. So I think it strengthened me. Actually, during the pandemic, my family, my cousins, we formed a Zoom call to where we did Bible study with one another. I think it actually helped us. It helped us encourage each other. So I have been going virtually. I have not gone back physically, but I'm ready to go back because I'm ready for praise and worship. I love praise and worship.
Christian is not religion. Religion is ugly, says Deborah Goodson. I say, as far as the church is concerned, the devil, what he tries to do is divide and conquer. And I think he accomplished that, in my opinion. Lots of us are not going to church and we're not as faithful. And sitting in your house, coming, on your podcast for church 5 minutes before the preacher actually, or 2 minutes before the preacher gets up and preach, it's not what you would be getting if you actually physically went to the church. You praise and worship is, you get that better at the church. I'm not saying you can't do it from home, from looking at your computer or phone, but I am saying that at the church, in the midst, that's the one thing we can do for God. And we do it together, and we do it wonderfully when we get together. I think the devil almost had his way. Almost. I think, fortunately, for a time like now, 2021, it was wonderful that we had computers and podcasts and all these things, because it at least kept the church going. The church didn't have to stop. It didn't have to take a hit, because we had this about 100 and some years ago, 100 years ago. And I don't know exactly what happened during that time, but it was just assume. I don't know if they did a shutdown like they're doing now, but I'm sure they didn't, because the church is still going. This would have been a devastating blow to the church if you cannot form groups like this for 18 months, or how long it's been so far. So to me, I think originally it took a hit, but I think God is powerful enough that it didn't affect us.
But also too, it also helped the church, I think, materialize the fact that church is not a building. You know what I mean? You can't go to a building to have church. You can't have a church outside your house. You got a church. You got a church through that screen for real. If you actually sit there and do everything you're supposed to do, that you would do with your family in church. So it definitely materialized for me. Like, church is not that building. It's
I'll lay your ailments on the screen right now. I want to do something for you. Come.
Hey.
As far as the religion, I definitely think it was a faith tester. These crazy times, this pandemic, nobody knew what was going on. I'm thankful for the faith that I had and the word that I know to help me stand firm on it. One of the good things I saw is we actually got to expand. Some people trapped in the house didn't have nothing to do. Some people came back to God. Some people came back to the church. Some people, some people had been seeking, and some people might say, "Oh, just go to church," but some people have been seeking God and hadn't found Him. Some people, they found their way back. My church personally, we've grown to point, now, kind of like rebrandUS. Now we have members in Africa. We have members in, like, we literally have members in Sweden, and there are faithful members. Like, we've actually had two prominent people from Florida move here to Texas to be a part of the congregation. It's like they've, and so we've grown. And and I think another thing is you always hear people complaining about the church and they don't do anything for the community and things like that. And in these times, you got to see where the tides are going. You got to see what the church is doing. I've seen, especially out in our area, in the Dallas area, I've seen plenty of the churches putting their money where their mouth is. My church, every single Saturday, I can't even count the number of people that feeding, lines all up and down Beltline if you're in this area. I think it was on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They paid for a while. They go to some of the lower income parts of the area, and they open up the washing area, and they make it free for the day, so people can come wash their clothes and do the laundry. They provide every single. All they have to do is bring the clothes, the bleach, the detergent, the dryer sheet. Everything is provided along with free. So I mean, it's a little stuff like that where people got to witness God, and people got to witness God's people do the work. And a lot of these churches, have the word missionary in it, and the word, got to show that part of what's going on. So that part, as far as the pandemic with religion, I think we really got to see some of the things that people were saying that they didn't get to see. And I think the church actually got a chance to kind of take a step back and revisit what are we really doing and what are we here for. So I think it came out a beautiful thing on the religious part.
It's good, Ace.
You're talking COVID-19. Please give us your opinions.
Hey, yo, Ace, who do we have on the show next week?
I'm discussing the topics that have to deal with the black family. You know the food or the drink is good when the person says swallow instead of swallow. We do have a new sponsor. Today's show was brought to everybody by Pastor Jim Jones Flavor Kool-Aid. Let's all take a nap. Married couples that swing at the playground, are they confused or just risk takers? Giggity giggity.
You catch Adrian The Ace Stinson and the rest of the rebrandUS crew live Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Central on YouTube and Instagram at rebrandUS Podcast, Facebook at rebrandUS, or rebrandUS.org.
Hey, yo, Ace, who do you have next week?
Oh, next week, I just got a couple of neighborhood guys we're going to interview. We're actually going to do a special piece on. They're only going to have like 15 minutes. They got to get back to work. But we're going to have the hood mechanics that don't use tools. We all know that guy. It just, I don't know how they do it. They just open up the hood, tell you start up, let me hear it. And, tell you, go give me a butter knife, or maybe like him, go give me 2 bobby pins. But they get you running for at least another 6 months. So we're just gonna interview those guys and just see how they do what they do. It's a lost art, actually.
Hey, there's a guy that grew formerly out of Greenville, Texas. We used to call him Beavers. Kim, you may know him. This guy used to work with my uncle, and he could get a calculator from your remote or a remote control from your television, and dilly dally this thing up, put it on your car, and you don't have computer problems no more. He cut a water hose out, and you don't need a water pump. I mean, this dude was really, really good.
Yeah,
really, really good. So, Eric, what do we have next week?
You'll get as good as my homeboy. I have no idea.
Hey, don't discount my mechanics now. These guys, these are serious pillars of the community. We got to have these guys. We got to see what these guys have going on.
Hey, next week we should have a really big show for y'all. We got plans on a really big show. We can't let the cat out of the bag just yet because, things may not fall through just like they should. But anyway, just stay tuned and watch. Also, you can catch us on, like I was saying earlier, you may have to do it anyway. rebrandUS Podcast on YouTube, rebrandUS Podcast on Instagram, and you can go to rebrandus.org. We're broadcasting from all of those places. Yep, brother. I remember him. Oh, I don't know what that was about.
That's
you're talking about the mechanic from Greenville.
The mechanic guy, yeah.
Beavers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He might be talking about Butthead, though, so. Which one?
No, his name was Beavers or Beaver or something like that. Hey, look, COVID-19, we had a whole lot we could have talked about tonight. It was a conspiracy theory. Do you think it's a conspiracy? That's what we opened up talking about. I wrote a few things down. Cabin fever. We didn't talk really much about that. Did you get sick or staying home? But I believe all of us didn't lose our jobs during that time. The relationships that you had with your spouse, Beaver, he said. The relationship that you had with your spouse. And you know what? The one thing that affected, I believe, all 4 of us is travel. Kim traveled quite a bit during this time. My sister traveled quite a bit during this time. I normally travel quite a bit. I traveled none during this time. And Ace, you've traveled. So, and Eric, you have too, haven't you?
Yeah, by my vein, I drove though. I didn't do the airplane, so
yeah. So it has affected us all. Certainly me on the travel piece, but it has affected us all in some kind of way.
The biggest thing is education. The children, schools change, virtual school.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, man? I don't know who got hit the worst. Let's take a vote. Who got hit worse? The seniors of 2020 who didn't get their prom, or the seniors of 2021 who didn't get a senior year? But they did get the prom.
I think 2020.
I think 2020, because it was so unexpected. Those kids they didn't get graduations, they didn't get proms. That was actually just kind of sad, just seeing. I mean, of course, some people might say that ain't what school's all about, but I mean, especially for a young lady, I think a prom is kind of like just a certain point at a young lady's life that she look forward to.
It's a rite of passage.
Pretty dread, yeah. And it was just sad to see them miss out on that opportunity.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think about my graduation day, and it was one of the most proudest days of my life, and they were robbed of that thanks to the pandemic. So, because at that time, I mean, this time last year, we were panicking still, not knowing much about what was going on and about the virus. So,
yeah,
it's unfortunate.
Any last words, Eric?
No, COVID is definitely something that we continue learning about. Hopefully, we'll continue to get better with it. Hopefully, people do what's best for them in regards to vaccinating themselves or not. Just like Ace said, it's education in that regard too. Know what's right best for you and your family.
I love it when somebody say no, but then they give an answer. Ace?
Just real quick, last words, everybody, as we go out, just make sure that we're always providing a solution. We all know the problem. Let's make sure we're solution givers. It reminds me of a quick story. The movie DC Cab, Mr. T, he provided a solution to a problem. A prostitute got into his cab. He asked her, why was she prostituting? And she told him because she needed the bread. So he told her to get a job at a bakery. It's solutions like that we need, we can provide. So just make sure that you're getting solutions like that.
Any last words, Kim?
I would just tell everybody, just protect yourself. Read and do your own and get your own understanding about what's going on in your life, because everybody lives a different lifestyle. So just protect yourself and do what's best for you.
Well, if I had any last words, I'd probably say that we're all in this together, and I'll take the poem of Muhammad Ali. It's me, we. That's it. See y'all next week.
rebrandUS. It's motivating, inspiring. It's a conversation that needs to be had. It's Adrian The Ace Stinson.
If you're not gonna help, don't hurt.
Eric Russell.
We need financial literacy. We also need to get over this level of fear that we have.
Anthony Goodson.
That my ancestors, whether they were slaves, innovators, or the first blacks to do something, their lives had a purpose.
It's unique to any other podcast. It's Rebrand You, Rebrand Me. It's rebrandUS.